Hello everybody, welcome to another video here on my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about and showing you some top tips on how to deal with multi-lane roundabouts. I've seen a lot recently where in some of the Facebook groups and stuff I'm part of, a lot of people seem to be struggling with multi-lane roundabouts and roundabouts in general. So I'm just going to go through some of my top tips that I feel really will help you get round them, and also so you understand what the examiner's looking for on your driving test when it comes to how you deal with these multi-lane roundabouts or just roundabouts in general. Okay, so roundabouts. If you look on the driving test report, the sheet that the examiner is going to mark you on, there isn't actually a section on roundabouts. And the reason for that is each roundabout themselves is slightly different. They're all individual. They all work on the same principles, but you couldn't say that somebody failed specifically on a roundabout. It's the way that they approach that roundabout and it's the way that they deal with it. So the key areas that the examiner is going to be marking you on when it comes to roundabouts, the parts of your test report that are going to be marked when it comes to these is your awareness and planning section, your judgment section when it comes to meeting, greeting and crossing other traffic, your approach speed to junctions, your response to road markings and street signs or traffic signs. They're the sections that you get marked on when it comes to your driving test. A couple of basic rules for roundabouts. The first one is you always give way to anybody from the right. So what that means is as you approach a roundabout, you're coming down, and let's say, for example, you're on a mini roundabout, so it's just painted in the middle. You've got a car coming towards you, and there's a junction to your left. They come towards you with a right-hand signal on. They're going to come round and in front of you, so you have to give way to them. But your main give way on a roundabout is anybody that is coming to your right, so anybody that's got to come across your path. Another big basic principle when it comes to roundabouts is staying in your lane. The worst thing or the most dangerous thing you can do on a roundabout is try and change lanes. You're in generally a very fast moving environment. It's very hard for you to get all of what you need to do to correctly move lanes safely, checking your mirrors, checking your blind spots, putting your signal on, getting yourself moved in a very, very short space of time. Easiest way to deal with it, especially on your driving test, if you get in the wrong lane, just stay in it. Follow where it goes. They can't mark you down for going the wrong way. And if it's safer to stay in the lane that you're in and just follow where it goes, the examiner will just reroute you back round and get you back onto the test route, taking in possibly a couple of little side roads. But it is the easiest way to do it. If you try and change lanes on a driving test, or in fact any time you're using a roundabout, you're putting yourself you've gone from a very low risk situation to a very high risk situation, and the chances of you getting something not quite right or mistimed is quite high at that point. So just try and stay in your lane when you're on a multi-lane roundabout. Okay, so the example I'm going to use here, it's a roundabout that's quite close to me in Nottingham. It's also a very difficult roundabout that a lot of people seem to get tripped up on the driving test. So for the Chilwell Test Centre that's near to me, it's used on a lot of different test routes. It's a big multi-lane roundabout. There are sections that have 5 lanes, there are sections that have 2. There's also a little bit of a difference because this one has 3 lanes that run straight through the middle of it. So it's a little bit of a different design roundabout. It's partially traffic light controlled and partially not. So some parts you're going to have to use your judgment, and other parts you can follow the traffic lights. So the first bit that we've got here, travelling down the A52 in Nottingham, heading towards the roundabout, and the direction I'm going to be taking here is following the signs towards Ilkeston. So as we come through the set of pedestrian lights, you can see on the road markings that you've got each lane labelled. So you've got the 2 that say your A52 and M1 junction, and then your right hand lane's got a different labelling to it. Above that on the hill, you've also got your gantry signs, so the signs that go over the road. And again, you can see I'm heading towards Ilkeston, so it's showing me there which lane I need to be in. Now at this point, I can't see the roundabout, but all I know is where I want to head to. So I'm going to get myself into the lane underneath that sign to make sure that I'm in the correct lane. As we come over the hill, there's now a new sign on the right here, and it shows you a change in the roads again. So the first two lanes have not changed. The lane that I'm in is now being shown as it's going to split. So again, I've got to now think about which one of those two lanes that are going to, this one lane's going to split into, which one do I want? So the sign on the right here shows me that I want to be in lane number 4. So now I'm coming down to the traffic lights. Lights are on red, so I'm going to stop. Quite ironically here, there is an ambulance that comes past, but there is a big gap on the left of me, so I don't have to move. So while I'm waiting for the lights to change, I'm having a good look at the road markings in front of me, because there's my 2 lanes at the next set of traffic lights become 3. So I've gone from 1 lane to 2 to 3. So I need to have a look at what the road markings show me and which lane I need to be in for the next set of traffic lights. And you can use this time at the red light as your little advantage to do that for you. So I'm going to look here. I've got Stapleford Lane, which is my first lane. I've got my Ilkeston Lane and Stapleford Lane, which is the middle lane. And then the very right-hand lane, lane number 3, just says Nottingham in it. So I know that I want to be in that middle lane. So as the lights change, I'm going to move through and then wait at the next set of lights. Whilst I'm waiting at these lights, I'm now looking for my exit. So I can see there's a road to the left of me. I can't go down there. All the traffic's coming out of it. The exit directly in front of me has got a sign on it that says Stapleford. And then so I'm looking round at my next exit, and that shows me that it's got Ilkeston on that one. That is just making sure that I know which exit I'm coming off at, because my lane can go into 2 places. So all I'm going to do is make sure I stay in my lane, following where my lane takes me. Now this lane can't go anywhere else now at this point, but just as a good habit, I can't cause confusion by putting a signal on, but I might be able to help somebody out that's wanting to come out of the road I'm going into. So I'm going to put my signal on just to be sure on that one. And then all I'm going to do is follow my lane off, making sure that I'm staying where I need to be and not interfering with anybody else. So the next approach to this roundabout, I'm coming from the exit that you saw in the previous clip that said Stapleford in it, so I'm coming now at the roundabout from that junction. Now this part of the roundabout is not traffic light controlled. So I've got to bear that in mind as I'm approaching it, because I can see now that it's not traffic light controlled. So the first sign I'm looking for here is the big one which shows me which exit I'm going to go at. Now I'm going to follow the signs here that take me towards Bramcote. So I'm looking at my sign and I can see that I've got my first exit from where I'm coming is Ilkeston. My second exit takes me towards Nottingham. My third exit takes me towards Bramcote. And my 5th exit takes me towards the M1. So all I'm going to do is I know now that I need to take my 3rd exit. So as I'm approaching the roundabout, I can see there's 2 lanes there. And again, they've got road markings in them. The first lane quite clearly says Nottingham in it. The second lane has got BCTE in it, which is your shortened version of Bramcote. So I know I'm in the correct lane now by picking that one. Also, as I'm approaching it, I'm having a good look to my right, seeing what's going on, and I can see it's clear. So rather than stopping and having to start again, it's on a little bit of a hill, it's going to make it more difficult. I can quite clearly see that it's clear. So I'm going to keep going out, and as I come out, I've now got 4 lanes to choose from. So the first 2, my lane 1 and 2, both say Nottingham in them, so I don't need that one. The next one says Bramcote and M1, and then the final one says M1, so I'm going into lane number 3. As I come round through the traffic lights, having a good look at where my exit is again. And again, this lane can go in 2 directions. So as I come through the first set of lights, I put my left-hand signal on. There's nowhere else I can go there. I can't go into head-on traffic because you just can't, that'd be silly. But I would just want to make sure that I'm helping anybody that wants to come out of that junction. I can't, like I say, I can't cause confusion, so I'm just going to put my indicator on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come at this from the Bramcote exit, so the one that we've just come off on. Again, this one is not traffic light controlled. So as I come down to the roundabout this time, I'm looking for my signs because I'm going to follow it towards Stapleford. So as I can come down here, I can see my sign saying the first exit takes me towards the motorway, the M1. My second exit takes me towards Stapleford. So I know now that I need to be on the second exit. As I come down to the roundabout, again, I'm looking at my road markings because it's splitting into two. There's no other road signs that tell me where to go here. So I'm just looking at my road signs and thinking, right, which one do I need to be in? So again, I've got the short-term version of Stapleford in the left lane, and then the right lane has got my Nottingham and my Ilkeston markings in it. So I'm going to go into my left lane. As I approach the roundabout, I'm having a good look to the right as to where it's clear. And if it's clear, I'm progressing out onto the roundabout. Now, I already know, because I've looked at the previous sign, I'm not going on the first exit. So the first exit becomes a blocked off road to me. I know I'm not going down there. So as I come out onto the roundabout, I'm having a good look at my road markings again. And I'm just picking up the left hand of the two lanes that say Stapleford, because that will just make it easier for me to come off the roundabout. As I get into my lane, I'm just being 100% sure I'm in the correct lane, double checking where my exit is, looking for it, and as I'm starting to move, again, just putting my signal on to make sure that I can get off of the roundabout and not cause confusion to anybody. And the final way I'm going to approach this roundabout is from the Ilkeston direction, following the signs towards Nottingham. So again, as I come around this corner, you can quite clearly see the road sign on the right, which you can see from quite a long way. It's a big sign, and I'm just looking for which exit I need to be at. So it's showing me on this sign that I need to take my first exit, and I know I'm going to Nottingham. So as I come around the corner, again, I'm assuming that the lanes are going to split, and I need to look at my road signs, my road markings. Always assume when you're approaching bigger roundabouts, if they've got the bigger signs, generally they're going to have road markings to help you out with it. It's all there designed to help you. So as I come round the corner, I'm looking for my signs that say Nottingham on the roads. I'm picking up my lane, having a good look to my right to see if it's nice and clear for me to enter the roundabout. As I see that it's clear, I start to bring the car out onto the roundabout, having a good look to make sure I'm still staying within my lanes, and then just following the path of that lane off. So as you can see from all those examples, not once have I used the bit that goes through the middle of the roundabout. I've effectively, because I've not come from that way, I'm ignoring that that's there. I'm just treating it like it's a solid roundabout in the middle. But what you want to take away from this is that the majority of your multi-lane roundabouts will have a lot of signage on the approach to that roundabout. They will give you a lot of keys, helps, hints, tips, just as you approach the roundabout, so you know what you're doing. When they design and they build these roundabouts, they assume that everybody that's going onto them has never been around that roundabout before. So they try and help you out as much as they can, as early as they physically can. So if you know you're approaching a big roundabout, you've been asked to go at the roundabout, you're going to be taking the fifth exit. And especially on your driving test, the examiner might tell you to follow a specific direction. Because if it is a multi-lane roundabout that they use a lot on driving tests, they will know you might approach a roundabout in one lane, and on the roundabout it's actually 3 lanes, but they will know that how they're marked. So they might say to you, right, we're following the signs towards, like with my examples, Nottingham, Ilkeston, whichever one it might be, and it just helps you to pick your lane. So try and get that in as early as possible. If you get to the roundabout and you realise you're in the wrong lane, let's say, for example, on that first one that I showed you, I was actually being asked to go to Stapleford, I would actually just stay in my lane and follow it round if I couldn't use that lane to go towards Stapleford. Okay, so I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. If you've got any comments or any questions about roundabouts or anything like that, pop them in the comments below. I'll happily have a read of them and see if I can answer them as best I can for you. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck with your tests and keep safe. Bye.